Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 real-life Hulks you would not want to mess with. So, we all know the Incredible Hulk is a fictional, ginormous character, but it turns out there are some humans on Earth who resemble the Hulk. And you would not want to look at these guys the wrong way, because they are very, very scary. Before we get into it, why not Hulk smash the subscribe button and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10 we have Sajjad Garibi. So this man is from Iran and he's known as the Iranian Hulk. He has hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers and he went viral in Iran. He's now known all over the world because he's just so massive. He's 6'1" and weighs over 300 pounds. And he can lift over double his own body weight. This guy looks absolutely massive. If you've ever seen one of those funny Photoshop ginormous people, he looks kind of like one of them. Except there's no Photoshop to this guy, just pure muscle. This guy cannot fit in any regular vehicles. And he also struggles to buy clothing, seeing as he's way too big for any of the clothes. You may think this guy can defeat absolutely anyone. And there's many jobs someone this huge could do. They could play the Incredible Hulk in a movie perhaps. But no, instead, this guy is going for a more noble cause. Sajjad is now going out to fight IS. That's right, he's going to take on the scariest people in the world. If anyone can do it, it's this guy, as he's a real life Hulk and is absolutely terrifying. Just imagine this guy running right at you. This guy wouldn't need a tank as he already is one. And the amazing thing about this man is he didn't use any substances to get this big. It's all just a matter of his natural physique and working out a lot. Next up is Hwang Chul-soon. So we've just seen the Iranian Hulk. Well, now it's time for what people call the Asian Hulk. This man is from South Korea, but make no mistake, he wasn't always a Hulk. When he was 20 years old, he was quite scrawny and only weighed 125 pounds. He was talked down to a lot and many people did not show him any respect. So that's why he decided to turn into the real-life Incredible Hulk. He spent around 10 years getting absolutely huge. Every single day he has a massive protein smoothie. He also does 3,000 sit-ups each day. He also spends most of his days eating, tons of protein that is. Eating the right foods and exercising is paramount to getting a Hulk-like physique. He's won many bodybuilding competitions in South Korea and now around the world. Some say the Asian Hulk used substances to speed up his growth, but he claims he is all natural. At the age of 26, he now weighs 220 pounds and is 6 feet tall. Coming up next is Kirill Teneshin. The people we've seen before on this list claim to be all natural, but this man from Russia is anything but natural, and you'll see it when you look at him. He is 21 years old and has the most ridiculous muscles on Earth. In 2017, he made a homemade chemical concoction to build up his muscles. You can already tell this is not a good idea, and he turned into what people call the real-life Popeye. He said his concoction was made of olive oil and alcohol, and while he did get the effect he wanted, this may only be short-term. Doctors now say he may have to have his arms amputated as they're way too big. He's already put 6 liters of this concoction into his arms, which is not a good idea, and he says he also plans to do the same to his back, chest, and shoulders. Doctors, however, warned this could take his life away. Like many people who take risks for followers, this man says he wants to get 1 million subscribers on Instagram. And he says he would also like to be a professional movie star. You may be wondering, why didn't this guy just get plastic surgery if he wanted to look this big? Well, he said he simply did it to save money. He said if he wanted to do it the real way, it would have cost him around 400,000 rubles, which is around $10,000. But seeing as he did it himself, it only cost him around 4,000 rubles, which is the equivalent to $100. Despite how bad this looks, he says he doesn't feel any discomfort and he says he's used to it. He says within a month of doing that, he already got 100,000 Instagram followers and he loves to be recognized. Next up, we have Eddie Hall. So we've seen some of the biggest people in the world on this list. So you're probably wondering, who is the strongest man alive? Well, in 2017, that title was given to British man Eddie Hall. He's said to be the strongest man alive right now. On his Instagram, he is seen carrying massive tires and picking up ginormous weights. He can even pick up cars with one hand. If you get a flat tire, you better hope that Eddie Hall is driving past and stops to help. He weighs 430 pounds and eats 12,000 calories every day. But being the strongest man in the world isn't all glitz and glamour. He finds it very hard to fit into regular clothes and vehicles. And he can't even sit in some chairs as they either snap or he just doesn't fit. But now he's the strongest man, he says he's going to calm down and lose some weight and focus on his family. Next up is Denis Syplenkov. So this man is an arm wrestler and professional bodybuilder from Ukraine. This man didn't necessarily want to become a real-life Hulk. He apparently just went to the gym one day and began getting major gains very quickly. He's 6'2" and weighs over 300 pounds. He also has an 8-pack and 25-inch biceps. Dennis wasn't really famous outside Ukraine until recently, but in the past few years, photos of his massive hands compared to regular hands have gone viral. At first, some assumed these images were photoshopped, but they are not. He now lives in Russia and trains every day to try and become the strongest man in the world. Maybe when Eddie Hall retires and focuses on his family, Dennis can take over. Next up is Hathor Julius Bjornsson. If you've watched Game of Thrones, you may recognize this man. He plays the Mountain in Game of Thrones, and once you learn how big and tall this guy is, you'll understand why he plays the Mountain. His nickname in his day-to-day life is Thor. That is because he's massive and super strong. He is 7 feet tall, so he could be a basketball player if he didn't weigh so much. He actually weighs over 400 pounds, which is insane, but he can carry more than double his weight. In fact, he can lift over 1,000 pounds. He is a professional strongman and has won many competitions. This guy could easily be considered a real-life Hulk, not only because of his weight, but also down to his height. Next up is Bryan Shaw. Bryan Shaw has been nicknamed the American Giant. He's 6'1", meaning he's incredibly tall, and much like Thor from before, he weighs over 400 pounds. He's gone viral online many times, including one time he towed a fire truck. He's won many competitions, including the Arnold Strongman Classic. And even more unbelievably, he did this while having injuries. He's not exactly the youngest bodybuilder in the world, but that does not matter to him. If you think Arnold Schwarzenegger is a large man, Bryan Shaw towers over him. Due to his massive height, he originally wanted to become a basketball player. But when he realized he was too heavy and had giant natural muscles anyway, he moved on to bodybuilding. Next up is Shivanil Vieira de Souza. By looking at this man, he is big, but he's not exactly Hulk-like, at least you may think so. If you look at this man, he's big, but he's not exactly Hulk-like, or at least that's what you may think. He's 5'11" and only weighs 200 pounds. Well, he plays on the Brazilian soccer team and he's known as the largest football player on the field. Football players aren't usually as bulky and big as this guy. And if you look at the back of his shirt, it won't say de Souza. Instead, it officially does say Hulk. Whenever he comes out to play, all the Brazilian fans in the stadium shout Hulk. Next up is Andrei Rusimov. This is someone I'm sure we all know, but you probably don't know him by that name. Instead, you'll know him as Andre the Giant. This man is a world-famous wrestler and strongman. In 1987, he broke a world record where he got the most attendance of a wrestling match ever. That was when he wrestled Hulk Hogan in the Silver Dome. Over 90,000 people came to see him as he was a spectacle around the world. Although he's no longer with us, he was legally a giant. He was 7'4", and he also weighed over 500 pounds. Next up is Sultan Cozen. This Turkish man isn't exactly the bulkiest guy in the world. However, he does hold the record for being the tallest living man. He has a ridiculous height of 8'2", and believe it or not, he would have kept growing, but instead he had to have surgery to stop growing. He has a strange birth attribution which causes him to keep growing. It's crazy how he would have never stopped if he didn't have this surgery in 2010. But Sultan Cozen makes everyone else look absolutely tiny in comparison, and it's safe to say him and everyone on this list is a real-life Hulk. But really, all of the people on this list have been Hulks in different ways. Sure, Sultan was the tallest, but tall doesn't always equal Hulk. There was the Brazilian football player who's absolutely massive and strong, especially going by the regular football player physique. Then there was the Iranian Hulk, who is absolutely massive. He really does look out of this world. Not to mention the Asian Hulk from South Korea. Despite the rumors around that guy maybe getting his muscles in a fake way, I believe he may have done it all by himself. There are many videos of him training online, so maybe he did it all naturally. And who can forget about Andre the Giant? Not only is he in the WWE Hall of Fame and one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, he's also been featured in many artworks, for example Banksy's very famous piece. Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the biggest Hulk on this list. Personally, I think it's the Iranian Hulk, as he is absolutely massive, and he's actually putting his massive powers to use, fighting IS. If you guys want more amazing videos, check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching, check out some more videos on screen right now, leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.